Welcome to Speed in Color, a podcast and YouTube channel about custom motorcycle culture. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to get all the latest content. You can also follow Speed in Color on Instagram. We hope you enjoy the show.
Patrick, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, as always.
We're back again.
Yeah.
So, I hope most of you by now know Mr. Patrick Lambie. Patrick is part of Hard Knocks Racing
Track Days?
Track Days, which is a racing school and track rental.
Track day company, school.
Okay, good. As well as he's part of Inside Motorcycles. InsideMotorcycles.com now.
Yes.
Because there is no more magazine at this time.
Print. At this time,
Okay.
the world of print just doesn't, it's not economical anymore. And you can see that when you go to the store, and there's fewer and fewer magazines. The world of digital is the way to go.
Digital is the way to go, they tell us, yes. So, and I'm Bruce, and part of Speed in Color.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, interesting, we were just talking before we started recording here, and Patrick and I share something this year, and that is that we're both going to retire. So, Patrick is done Friday, March
28th,
and I'm going on Tuesday, September 30th, because I have never known anybody who retired on a Tuesday, and I figured that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, and to clarify, we're retiring from our day jobs.
Our day jobs,
You're still doing
yes.
Speed in Color. I'm still doing Inside Motorcycles. We're just not going to be corporate people anymore.
Right. We're both going to have way more time for what we like doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, it's all good. We've both had good careers, both had a lot of fun. And
more fun to come.
More fun to come. More bikes to build. Anyway, what we wanted to talk about, Patrick and I have been talking about doing this episode for quite a while now. And we wanted to do an episode on helmets. And there are helmet reviews out there. There's lots of them. So if you're wondering about a specific helmet, I know there's a review out there for it. There's got to be. We didn't want to do your typical review. We wanted to talk about helmets more in general and more about, maybe even more about the culture of helmets. And just, like I say, more in general terms about these things. So we're going to get into that, and hopefully you're going to find some value here. But like I say, you're not going to get the typical review. Where would you like to start?
Well, I mean, we've got a variety of helmets here.
I
think,
we do.
Maybe we could start with just kind of the differences in all of these helmets. And,
sure. Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
And again, I think it's interesting anyway. Patrick and I were talking about how I think a lot of motorcyclists have a collection of helmets, and a lot of helmets have, if not a story, at least history behind them. And it's kind of cool that, over time, you hang on to these things, and they hang on the wall or sit on the shelf, and hopefully for all of you, they all bring good memories. I know a bunch that are on this table bring good memories for me. So do you want me to start at this end?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
just let's go.
We'll start from probably least protective to most protective,
Sure.
or close to that,
Yeah, let's
right?
do that.
This one is one of mine. This is actually Karen's helmet. So this is a half helmet, I think they're typically referred to. Pretty nice. It is a Bell half helmet. I did buy good quality half helmets for her and I. We have matching helmets for on the touring bike. I didn't quite get all the bugs off of this one, but that's all right. And this one is all set up with the microphone and the cord and everything. For on the Ultra, we both plug in and then we have good, clear communication between us. I know a lot of you are saying, why would you do that? But anyway, it's good. We like to talk to each other, and
What do you plug into?
it works out well. So hers plugs into the side of the tour pack,
Okay.
and mine plugs in right behind the gas cap on top of the tank. Harley puts a really nice flap and jack there, and it's weatherproof and everything, and it's nicely done. And I find it doesn't get in my way because it's centered. It's centered on the gas tank. The cord comes down into the gas tank, and my hands are out.
That's what I was wondering.
So there's nothing interfering with me. And that whole communication system, I knew that I would enjoy the sound system on the road, and I had the extra speakers put in it, and it works pretty well. And I like Yacht Rock, Sirius XM.
Okay. I'm going to try that on the way home.
And rocking the Yacht Rock on the touring bike. So I knew I would enjoy that. I didn't realize how much I would enjoy the phone. It's so automated. You're driving along and the phone rings and you just answer it and you're talking. And I've talked to people who had no idea I was on a motorcycle.
Oh, wow. It's going to,
Yeah,
so the
really,
sound quality.
really good sound quality.
Wow.
So I do enjoy the, what do we call that? The infotainment system.
Yes, the infotainment system.
So anyway, that's your typical half helmet. The Bell, and I think we all know that Bell makes pretty good quality stuff. This one has a visor in it. It's a great visor. I need to trim mine a little bit because I find that it does hit my nose occasionally.
Okay.
So, easy enough to just go in here and grind a little bit of this away. But kind of cool. I'm sure we'll get into talking a little bit about safety, and there are a lot of people out there who would say, half helmet, that's not enough helmet, and do you know that most hits happen on the jawline, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk more about why I wear one of these, but if I guess for me, the bottom line is, if you're going to buy a helmet, buy a quality helmet. And I don't care if it's a half, a 3/4, I don't care what it is. If you're going to buy a helmet, buy a quality one. If you're really wanting to wear a helmet. That's my perspective. So anyway, that's a half helmet. This is yours.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you talk about that one.
So this is, I guess if you go from the half helmet, this is the other extreme.
Yes.
So this is the Shoei, the X15. This is literally their race helmet. This is, if you watch MotoGP or whatever, this is what they're wearing.
Okay.
So this is the latest advancements in aerodynamics. When you look at it, it's all built for airflow. It's built so the faster you go, it gets more lift, and at a certain point, the weight is off your shoulders. It's built with a wide visor, so when your head's down, you still have good line of sight. In this particular one, I've got a tinted visor, just because I really don't like bright lights. So usually we're on the track during the day. So I have a tinted visor, easy to change in and out. And we'll talk more about different types of visors, hopefully, as we come up. But yeah, this is, as I say, it's kind of the extreme from like you start at the half helmet, and not to say that doesn't provide protection, but this goes to the other extreme, and part of it is the function of the helmet. This helmet is built when you're on the racetrack doing 200 kilometers an hour or more. That helmet is built when you're cruising on the highway. There's different speeds come with different if you do come off, different levels of risk.
Right.
So that's the big thing. I guess, at this point, the one thing you mentioned about buy a quality helmet, I would add to that, buy a helmet that fits. And that's a big thing. I'll call it a pet peeve of mine, because so often when I'm at the racetrack or working in other places, people are talking about they want, something like this Arai because they saw the cool graphic and that's the helmet of their dreams kind of thing. And you see people sacrifice the fit of the helmet for the graphic.
Right.
And no two helmets are alike. And, this is great. This is a Shoei, that's an Arai. They fit different head shapes. Arai has different shells depending on which model it is, but they tend to be more of an oval head kind of thing, where Arai tends to be a bit more of people with a rounder head. So A is find the helmet that fits the shape of your head. No two heads are the same. You need to find the right helmet to fit. And then the other thing is make sure it fits, because so many people, their helmets are loose. And the whole purpose of the helmet is not to rebound, like when you have a collision, it is to transfer energy.
Right.
So if you don't have, your helmet is loose, and the people who we work with are ambulance attendants and everything at the track, they have terrible stories of where people do not have the helmet that fits, so it's loose. And if they come in contact with the ground, it is not good, because then instead of absorbing energy, it's actually adding impact to the brain.
Right.
So when you get a helmet, take the time to make sure it fits. Part of that is everyone, and I agree, you can get great deals online, and everyone should take advantage of them. But going to a local dealer or a local store and making sure the helmet fits, that you don't, and walk around the store with it on. Make sure, does it have pressure up here? Then maybe it's not the right shape for your head. Do that. And once you know that, your Shoei fits you and you're a medium, then if you can get a deal online and that's what you want to do, you should go out and do it. But don't just order the helmet because you like the graphic or because it's dangerous and it's your head. So that's kind of my big pet peeve with helmets is, and I love graphics. I love this helmet, but it also fits me. And it's a good fit. It's a solid fit. It's snug. So I know it's not going to move in the event of a collision. I'm not going to have extra impact to my brain. This is what they're for. And, the only other thing, just when I'm on my spiel about helmets, if they hit the ground, whether you crash, whether you set the helmet on your bike seat and it falls off, don't put it on your bike seat. That helmet's done. Because these are, I know they're this cool fiberglass or carbon. There's a whole bunch of intricate design in here.
Right.
And something as simple as falling literally from this table to the ground can compromise that.
Yeah.
And you're not going to know until, unfortunately, you are in an accident whether or not it was compromised. So I know
And it's not that they're fragile.
No.
They're well constructed and everything, but you just can't take that chance.
No, and they're built literally for a collision. So when it hits the ground, it does its job, but then it may be compromised. And you just, again, it's your head. And I know helmets are expensive and that's a hard thing to do, but it's your head. So if it hits the ground, whether it's from 3 feet or you have a crash and your helmet touches the ground, it's time to get a new helmet. Yeah.
I guess what I would say to that, there was actually 2 things I was going to say. So one is, Patrick mentioned buying online. And what I'm going to tell you, because I am a district sales manager and I deal with a lot of dealers, I'm going to say that, yes, definitely, go into a motorcycle shop, go somewhere where they carry a broad selection of helmets, make sure you find a helmet that fits you well. I had the guys from Arai fit me with this, but once I knew what helmet fit me, then I went and looked at graphics.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, don't buy the graphics and hope that you'll get used to the helmet or it will take on the shape of your head. But when you use the dealers like that and everything, I'm going to tell you, shop local. At least that first one. Buy it from a dealer, buy it from a local shop.
Yep.
Take advantage of that. As Patrick says, once you know what you are and you've made that initial purchase, oh yeah, if you see a good deal online, that's fair. I can go along with that. But if you're going to try on somebody's helmets and everything, I think it's really a good idea if you buy at least that first one from them.
100%.
The other thing I was going to talk about is the graphics, and you mentioned dropping the helmet and stuff. Be careful if you're going to get your helmet painted. You want to have somebody who really knows what they're doing do it. You also want to make sure that whatever paint is being used is suitable for a helmet. I have seen helmets with cracks in them from solvent and all kinds of crazy things. Every manufacturer puts it in their warranty and their sales information. Do not paint this helmet. Again, you compromise the integrity of the helmet. Just really not a good idea. And then you wind up with an expensive helmet, a $1,500 helmet with a $3,500 paint job on it that isn't going to protect you. Seems like a lot of money for something that's useless. So like I say, what I do for myself is I have some old helmets. I paint them and hang them on the wall. Who cares? But if you're going to use it, please make sure that the paint, and I'm not going to tell you what's right because I'm not even sure. Maybe it's a water base, whatever. There may be paints that work out there. But check that out, and I think you really want to go to the helmet manufacturer for the final word.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to take a look at our levels here. We're doing fine.
We're good.
We had a little glitch with the sound mixer, and I just wanted to make sure it's working right. Okay, so that's the maximum coverage kind of deal. Yeah.
That's, they have different, and that's like all of these helmets are built for a different function. Ideally they're catering to a certain type of riding.
Yes.
The one that you started with is built for your cruising.
Yes.
The one that I just showed is built for that you are literally racing.
Right.
And they have different features. I'm not going to tell people whether they should do, if they're riding on the street, open face, full face. That's a personal decision.
Right.
And
we'll talk more about that in a minute. This helmet, an Arai, and again, we're not sponsored by any helmet manufacturer, so we're talking about all kinds of different manufacturers, and we're really not judging much here. I think Arai is known for being a good quality helmet. This helmet has been mine for quite a few years. Probably shouldn't be using it much anymore because what does Arai say? 4 seasons? 5?
Most manufacturers talk 5.
Yeah. So I should probably hang it up one of these days. We talked about the story or the history behind helmets. This one I bought for doing demo ride events. Some of you may know I work for Honda Canada. And when I went to work for Honda Canada, I wanted to wear, for corporate events, I wanted to wear a good quality helmet, but I also wanted something that at demo rides and stuff, I stood out so that people knew, oh, that's the Honda guy there. And that graphic did that for me. Any graphic would have worked, but I really liked that one. So anyway, that's the history for me behind that helmet. Is that was always my corporate helmet. That was kept for doing ride events and stuff like that. Where do we want to go next?
Got to go on to this.
We can go to that one.
Do you want me to hand it to you?
Sure, please. So this is when Karen bought me the Sportster, I wanted a helmet that was really special to me. So I went down to Ill-Fated Customs, and I loved the color of this built well. This is a 3/4 or an open face helmet, whichever you want to call it. I have said it before. I think I look stupid on my chopper wearing a full face helmet. You may not agree for yourself, or for me for that matter, and I don't really care. It's how I feel about it. So I wear an open face helmet when I'm on my chopper. I would also feel stupid wearing the half helmet on the chopper. That's not my look.
Okay.
This is my look. So bought the Biltwell, decent helmet for sure. Not over the top, but a decent helmet. It's going to do the job in the city, let's say. But what I did is I took this down to Gary Miller, who goes by the trade name Gamboogie, and I wanted it pinstriped by Gamboogie. So that helmet, and boy, when did I get this helmet? This helmet is at least 10 years old now. It doesn't have a mark on it. The pinstriping is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. So it pretty much sits on the shelf now. I've got other helmets to wear, and this is a Gamboogie original. So hopefully someday, I don't know, maybe there'll be a museum, or maybe there'll be somebody in the family who hangs it on the wall. Tracy would probably want this on the wall.
With Frankie.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, there's a story and a history behind that helmet, and I think that's kind of cool.
Also, the one thing, and you touched on it before, it's done by someone who knows the correct paint to use.
Yes,
so nothing has been done to, I mean, first of all, it's gorgeous. I'm jealous. But I mean, nothing has been done to compromise the integrity of the helmet.
Right.
Which is really, because I mean, it is very tempting to say, oh, I want, and to do a stencil and start spray painting your helmet. And it can be a big regret. Yep. Whether you've just, as you said, they can crack, and then it's, good for a flower pot maybe, or you can get hurt. So
I'm just going to throw it in here, and I am not being critical of Biltwell. They make some really cool helmets, and I think they make a quality product. And I think it's probably better than it was 10 years ago. But I do notice now when I wear one of my newer helmets, and then I put that one on, and I go, and I don't know if it's from wearing it that maybe things have compressed a little bit or whatever has happened, sweat, all that stuff. But I put that helmet on and I go, this feels, I almost feel World War II-ish when I put it on. It feels a little crude. But like I say, it is more than 10 years old, and that's not a criticism of Biltwell in any way.
But you did touch on maintenance of a helmet, because they will pack in, and at some point, and yes, the manufacturers are all very clear that after 5 years, probably you need to replace a helmet. Some people may argue that that's good for the manufacturers, because every 5 years you're at least buying a new helmet, but they do pack in. There are options, like if you wear your helmet every day, like if you're commuting to work for an hour each way, it will pack in even in a year.
Sure.
And most manufacturers will sell you new cheek pads, new lining for the helmet, and it's a fraction of the cost of just replacing the helmet, but it is important. And yes, pretty much every helmet on this table, you can pull all of that out, throw it in the washing machine so it's not full of sweat. I mean, you wear that helmet at the track all day, and it's gross.
Yes, absolutely.
It's full of sweat, and it's disgusting. and it's not good for the integrity of the material. So it is important from a maintenance point of view to don't be shy to take the cheek pads and the lining out and clean it.
And that's one of the things I was really impressed with the SMKs is they are built to take all that stuff out and clean it. And very practical. I thought that was really good. That, so again, not promoting or endorsing any one helmet.
But it's a great segue into this helmet.
Sure, yeah. So sticking with the 3/4 or open face design, and this is very much, to me, this is very much a European thing. Oh my, I should get a new one. So SMK makes a 3/4 or open face helmet. You will also see these referred to as for some of the certification, they'll refer to this as a J or a Jet. Now, nobody's ever told me for sure what that means, but I think, and people have told me that I'm probably right, I think what it refers to is that pilots used an open face helmet because they had the mask. Yeah. So this configuration would have been known as a Jet, or like I say, if you look at some certifications, it will say certified J, and I think it's F, JF, and F is for full face, full coverage, and the J. So SMK calls this a retro Jet.
Okay.
And that Jet refers to this style.
Yeah.
They must be popular in Europe because SMK makes several different open face helmets, really nice. One of the models is actually quite a bit bulkier, but still has that open face. And I think the kind of riding they do in Europe,
a lot of
slower.
Urban,
yeah. I think that's popular probably. This one, the visor's removable, and you still have this nice detail on the side where the hinge is. But I do like the visor. On a built well, you can snap on the bubble, and the bubble is very retro, and it's very cool. And you can get the yellow one and the smoked one and all of that. But this, I find really nice.
Yes.
I probably look like a dork when I'm wearing it, but functionally it's so nice that I do enjoy it. Interesting graphics, that's such a cool thing too, that helmet manufacturers now are offering such a variety of graphics and some really cool stuff, some retro, some more current stuff, race stuff, all kinds of stuff. So yeah. One thing I do like, and I'll show you on this other one as well, SMK, I think, this was the first helmet I noticed it on, was these metal vents. And I think I looked at, maybe it was a Biltwell the other day from Perth County Moto or somebody, and I noticed it had metal vents now. I don't remember seeing them before SMK. Maybe they were there. Doesn't matter. They're cool. I like those metal vents. That's a great retro kind of style.
No, it's super cool. And, and again, I know I kind of went on a bit of a rant about, graphics. I'm not saying they're not important, because these helmets are a chance to express your personality.
Absolutely.
Whether it's this one or that, but so I don't want to downplay the importance of graphics, because I love graphics as much as the next guy, but this helmet's a good example also why you don't have to pay a fortune for a helmet. And, as an example, that Shoei, I believe if you were to buy it, the MSRP is about $1,400. This helmet's a lot cheaper, but this helmet is ECE certified. So it has gone through the rigorous testing that's required to receive that. There are lots of options. So don't let budget be a factor. Don't feel that, you have to only have a showy or only have an Arai. And I'm not saying their products aren't worth it. I think they have a lot of technology. They do a lot of advancements, but there are a lot of options out there. Again, if you're trying to showy, it doesn't fit. Trying to Arai, it doesn't fit. But maybe it's an SMK, fits your budget and it fits your head, then that's the helmet you should get. And, Bruce and I have looked, and we have a lot of SMK, and again, we're not promoting them, but they're just a really good example of there are lots of options out there to fit every price and every form of riding you're going to do. So there is literally no excuse not to have a good helmet that fits you properly.
Right.
Man, I like to rant a lot.
I know, it's good. When do we want to talk about ratings? Maybe we'll finish the types.
Okay,
and then remember we're going to talk about
we'll come
ratings.
back to that. Do you want to talk modular now?
Do you want to talk modular?
Well, I don't know how to open it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll talk modular. Again, another decent helmet, good helmet from SMK. Again, quality is always debatable. It's subjective. I think this is a fine helmet. This one is a modular, so the visor flips up. Notice we're going to talk about pin lock. The pin lock is installed on this one. So the visor flips up. You also have the whole jaw flips up. And I'm sure you've seen these out there. Lots of guys wear them. Style of bike, I don't know, maybe more adventure. Again, it's certainly not a helmet that I would wear on a chopper. Would I wear it on the touring bike? Yeah, I don't mind it. I have worn it. I don't mind it on that at all. I might pick a different color to go with my bike, but it works just fine. The modular, and this is where I was talking about that dual rating, that JF thing, and I don't think it's on here, but the rating for a modular helmet, you can get modulars that are rated, certified for just the
helmet,
the three-quarter part, if you will. And then there are others that are rated with the modular. Helmets are always awkward when you're trying to hang on to them, huh?
Absolutely.
This one in particular has both ratings, the J and the F, so it is tested with this in place as well. You will find modular helmets that are only tested for the main body. They're not tested with this in place. So I would say if you can get a rating with this in place, probably, a little better helmet if that's important to you. I like it. Again, just really good quality, some leather trim, really, really nice, good venting. Good street helmet.
And then, the beauty of these is obviously you pull up to the gas station, you go in, you fill your bike, you go in to pay, and the number of times you go in with a full face helmet, and you just feel stupid standing in line to pay. These you can flip up, you can have a snack, you can have a drink. I will tell you, and I know they've got the rating, but you do give up, if you compare to a full face where there is no mechanism in here, you do give up something. So as an example, at the racetrack, we don't let people wear modular helmets.
Right.
It's not to say that we don't think they're safe or anything, but in that environment, having that additional point of pivot, we don't think is a necessary risk kind of thing. But I own several of these modular helmets. I love them when you're out for a long day of riding. They're great. I see guys going down the road where it's super hot and they flip the whole thing up.
Yeah.
So it is, they're a very versatile helmet. They're a great option, especially if you're doing multiple types of riding and you only want to have one helmet. So they're a great option.
Yep.
Do you want me to put that back? Or do you want to talk about it some more?
I was going to talk about something. Maybe I wasn't.
Okay.
You mentioned something, but we'll get back to it. Yeah.
Do you want to go on to this one?
You should talk. Oh, that's what I wanted to show.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you. You just reminded me. I looked at that next helmet. So this one too has a newer style. So we're all used to the D-rings, and D-rings work great, and no issue with them or anything. But this helmet has a newer style. I'll try and get close enough. I'll see if I can zoom in. It's sort of a quick lock kind of deal that you release just by pulling that. Boy, oh boy, that is slick. On this helmet, I love that. It's just so quick to do it up and to undo it, and seems plenty, well, obviously it passed certification and everything, so I take it's strong enough.
Absolutely.
No issue there. But these newer latches are really nice.
Yeah, very cool.
That's what I was going to mention.
Okay, well, I'm glad we remembered. Do you want to go on to this one?
Absolutely.
Sure. So adventure riders make up a huge part of the market. It's a big growing part of the market, and adventure helmets are everywhere. When you talk about stories with helmets, hopefully this one will have a story, because this was just sent to me because we are planning a trip to the Arctic Ocean, and this is the helmet I will be wearing. So hopefully it will have a story to it, and a good story, not a bad story.
Do you want to talk about that trip, or just tell people the basic concept of the trip?
The premise is the story is going to be called Chasing 60, because this summer I will turn 60. So we're going to mark the occasion by riding north of 60 to the Arctic Ocean. So that's the premise of the story. Stay tuned to InsideMotorcycles.com. That was a good plug, wasn't it?
That was excellent.
Yeah. So this helmet actually and it's brand new, literally still has the tags in it. This helmet has, first of all, it's your typical adventure helmet in the sense that it's got the beak to keep any roost or anything out of your eyes. Has a visor on it, but also has good ventilation. The typical adventure helmet as a starting point. But this helmet probably is, and like you, I have a lot of helmets. This is probably the most high-tech helmet in my closet right now. It is completely carbon fiber. Right. So it weighs barely over 3 pounds. The visor on this is something I've never tried before. It is photochrome, and some companies call it photochromatic, but it will change with the daylight situation. So when it is dark, it will be clear. When you're riding in a hot sun and it's bright, it will turn dark. And again, if you're like me and I don't want to have sunglasses or anything inside my helmet, not having to change visors is a wonderful thing. Yeah. The other thing, and you did mention it before, this comes set up for pin lock. And pin lock, if you haven't used it before, is, in fact, this helmet has it already in.
Yes, it does.
But, well, we'll come back to pin lock then.
Okay.
This one's set up for pin lock.
I like how big the visor is on this thing.
This is huge, and this is actually big enough that when you pop it up, you can actually put the set of goggles in here. Right. You have the option, you can easily remove this, but you can leave it up, throw goggles in here, so if you hit that really dusty stretch of road, because and this has a great seal, no matter how good the seal, you hit like that sandy road and you're going to have dirt everywhere in your eyes. And so the opportunity to put on goggles is super important, especially if you're doing, some of the adventure riders maybe never leave the pavement. If you're going beyond the pavement, that's a great feature. Yeah. This helmet, and we talked about it before, how helmets are about controlling and dispersing energy in the event of a crash. This has, and this is from Liat, this has what they call their 360 turbines in it, which is not only about protecting your head in the impact, but actually letting the helmet rotate a little bit, so that if you do crash, you don't have this jarring thing where your head naturally wants to turn, but the helmet doesn't. So this is, honestly, I look forward to trying it. I honestly have not worn it yet because it's very cold outside.
Right.
But yeah, I hope I have a great story.
Pretty
to go with
serious
it.
technology.
It's a great, and again, you don't need to go this far. There's lots of adventure helmets. This one, sorry, I should have mentioned because Bruce was talking about latches. This one is actually a magnet, and I was very skeptical when I first got it, but it is literally just a magnet that pops in there. It is solid. You can pull, and then you just pull this, and it opens.
Okay, tell me what this emergency use only pull is about.
So a lot of helmets, especially like the showy.
Maybe just hold that up for a second so that we can...
So a lot of helmets you will see when you're in the store will have that. So in the event that you are in an accident and you are, being attended to, it's serious enough that you're unconscious or you're being dealt with by, an EMT person or whatever, these allow them to pull out the cheeks without interfering, without moving because they want to keep you stable. They want to keep your neck stable. So a lot of helmets, definitely this one, probably for sure the Arrive, have these emergency pulls. And it's really geared for if you are in an accident.
Okay.
It can be removed without jostling your head, where there's, they definitely want to keep your head stable. So that's the purpose of those.
Cool. Nice helmet.
It's very nice. As I say, I'm excited. And
Where's it made?
It is made in South Africa. That's where Liat is based. They were kind enough to send me this.
So tariff-free.
Apparently, for now. I don't know how that's going to work. But yeah, no, so that is, adventure helmets. And again, each one of these is kind of, there's call it form and function. They all have different kind of graphics and everything, but they also have a different function. Right. You wouldn't wear this on the racetrack because your head would get ripped off by the wind. But if you wore something like one of these out on, a dirt road or something, you need this. Right. You need it to protect, it helps with the sun. It also helps with dirt coming at you, whatever. So, yeah.
You wouldn't wear it on the chopper either because then some big guy would rip your head off and tell you looked like a dork.
Oh, come on, you did good. You should try it.
And I will say, I'm very envious of Patrick doing this Chasing 60 thing. And if any of you have any ideas, so Chasing 60 won't work for me unless I turn around and go backwards. That's the only way I can chase 60. So I thought about Route 66, but sadly that ship has sailed as well, okay? So we can't go there. So if any of you have any ideas for me of something I can chase, let's be safe and say 68 and on. I would be interested in hearing about it because I don't have any ideas.
I'm going to work on that.
Okay. We did this one on our Christmas gift giving special. Okay. Yes, we did. Another SMK helmet. This is the retro, full face, the metal. We covered it on the Christmas gift giving, so you can look at all the details there. Nice leather pieces inside. Very cool helmet. Great visor. Comes with pin lock. Just a really nicely detailed helmet. I love the shape, and I love a bunch of the graphics that SMK is doing. If you've got a cafe racer, a brat, heck, even a chopper bobber, this is certainly retro enough that you could get away with it and good quality helmet.
Absolutely.
So I will say, this is one of my favorite helmets. I really like that one.
Now let's go back to the pin lock, though. Let's talk about that.
Or do you want to finish this first?
Okay, we'll do that. Then
we'll finish this, and then we're going to do pin lock.
Okay.
And then we'll go on to safety ratings.
Okay, got it.
So last one here, my helmet, again, because I needed a dirt helmet for doing corporate events, I am not a motocross guy at all. No way. I don't like the dirt. It doesn't impress me. However, for getting on the odd dirt bike, for riding ATVs, and of course, even being in side-by-sides. A little awkward in side-by-sides because there's a lot of helmet out front here and everything. But certainly ATVs and dirt bikes, I needed this. So, my history with this, I keep it on the shelf. It has some cool graphics and stuff. And it has the goggles. And it's just, as I head into retirement, it's kind of a nice piece to have around. And
absolutely.
It certainly did the job while I was doing those events. So that finishes off the types of helmets. I guess we could say quickly that, yes, there's the what do they call those? The German war helmets, and there's pod helmets, and there's all that stuff. And you know what? Knock yourself out. Whatever you like to wear, I'm not going to argue with you. I would like to see you in a good quality helmet, whatever style you choose. But that's just my perspective. And like I say, you're an adult. You can make your own decisions, and you're not going to get any argument here. So on to pin lock first.
Sure.
Okay. Talk about pin lock.
Well, so this one has the pin lock already in.
So does the modular.
Yeah, okay. They are, especially living in Canada, where going for a ride in the morning can mean that it's cool out, and there is nothing more frustrating than you pull up at that first traffic light, and it's not that you're breathing heavy, but you're breathing. And suddenly, if you're wearing a full face helmet, your visor is fogging up. And that can be because it's early or it's raining outside. So suddenly you got to pop your visor up, an inch or so it'll clear up. But that sucks when it's raining. And, you got spray coming at you depending what bike you're riding. Yeah. So pin lock is literally just an insert that clips right in here. It does not change your visibility. They're incredible technology. And it prevents it from fogging up. Better than...
Just do this for a second.
You're so good at that. I always forget.
If you can see this, there's a fine line around the outside edge. That's actually on the inside of the visor. That's the silicone seal of the pin lock shield. So the pin lock, I got to be honest. First helmet I bought that had pin lock, I didn't know what pin lock was, and I was trying to figure out pin lock. What's so special about that? Honestly, I think it's kind of a stupid name, but we'll go with it, okay? The pin lock is that the visor has these little pins on either side. And this extra shield clips on to those, and then the silicone seal sits against the visor. So what you're doing with this, you're making a small air gap there. So you have visor material, silicone seal, little air gap, then your outer shield. If any of you are old enough to remember when cars, Canadian Tire, Harbor Freight, I'm sure sold them, all kinds of stores sold them. Before we had proper defrosters and rear window defrosters, the little wires, that kind of stuff, you could buy these plastic sheets that had a seal, an adhesive seal around the edge, and they usually had a couple dots in the center. And what those did, you put them on your side windows, on your back window, not on your front window, don't do that. But they went on the sides and stuff. And it was exactly this technology. It formed a seal around the edge. You had the glass on the outside, plastic, and an air gap between the plastic and the glass. And that area would not fog up. So it was really cool because the window would have fog all the way around the edge, but where that shield was would stay clean. And, when I put this on, I remembered my dad's car when I was, 3 or 4 years old, and all these crazy plastic things stuck all over the inside of the car. But they work. That technology.
They work amazing.
And I would, I would almost bet that was used in aviation at one time too.
Probably, yes.
May even be used today in aviation. I'm not sure. If anybody knows about that, let us know.
The fact that it's, locked in place by pins, I think you're being a bit hard on the name. I think, it's a pretty obvious name to me.
I wish the name said more about the function than how it's held in the helmet.
Okay.
But anyway, pin lock, now that I know what it is, I'm okay with it. But yeah. Good.
What do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about safety ratings a little bit, because there's a couple of things that we could talk about there.
Yep.
So your basic safety rating, I think the most basic one out there is DOT.
That's right.
And I hate to pick on my Biltwell helmet again. That is a DOT helmet. It may be the only one on this table. Oh no, the dirt helmets, the HJC is DOT as well. DOT is not a robust standard. I think it's safe to say it's a fairly basic testing certification. It's okay. It's better than nothing, but I don't think it's one of the better certifications out there. Most things will pass DOT fairly easily.
Yep, there's some helmets out there that you go, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So DOT is baseline. The SMKs here, and I don't know about the LEAD. I don't know what...
it's ECE. Yeah.
It's ECE as well. So ECE is European Commission for something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, it's something like that. ECE is actually a pretty good rating. I think it's accepted as a pretty decent rating. I would suggest that if any of you are interested and have time, go on Google and look it up. There's some videos about how they test helmets and, hit them with weights and different things come sliding down on it. It's really interesting. But ECE is fairly, what would you call that? Vigorous?
Yeah, it's robust.
Something like that.
It's a standard that is...
It is interesting that the retro is ECE 22.05.
Mm-hmm.
All the other SMK helmets on this table are ECE 22.06.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? Just means that the 2206 is a newer standard.
Exactly.
How much did it take to go from 5 to 6? Don't know. Why is the retro only at 0.05? Probably because they just didn't have the testing done last year when I got this particular helmet. So it's just Snell does the same thing. Yep. Their rating moves up. I think possibly other than does DOT have a?
No, DOT I don't believe has a date code.
Yeah,
or anything.
they don't have any kind of a certified code number.
The Shoei should have a Snell thing. I don't know what they're up to now. There'll be 20 something.
Are they Snell?
Yeah, it should be on there.
I'm sure they are.
If I'm wrong, we're going to have to redo this. Yeah, so it's Snell and ECE 2206.
Right.
And it's got an R2206. So it's, just again, different expectations and it matches the intended use of the helmet.
Yes, and intended use. I wonder what the R stands for. It could be race.
I'm going to go with race. Just because it makes me feel fast.
I like race. But that brings up an interesting topic too, and that and probably Simpson would be the best company to use for this example. Simpson makes a lot of race helmets.
Yep.
For NASCAR, I believe. Don't hold me to that. I know for sure NHRA Simpson's very common, and I'm sure there's lots of other motorsports. But the testing and the rating for cars is quite different than for motorcycles.
Yep.
So, you can go drag race your street car, and a motorcycle Snell rating, the track's probably going to accept it. The tech guys, when you go through through tech inspection, they're going to be fine with that helmet because it's better than what they require.
Mm-hmm.
But just so you know, a drag race helmet, for example, with a Snell rating is tested more on round objects like tubing, like the chassis.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're most likely to bounce your noodle off of, is a roll bar in the chassis. Motorcycles don't run into a lot of round tubes, so motorcycle testing is subjected to different shapes than what that drag race helmet is. So that's a little bit extra about Snell.
Yep.
Snell is one of the other really good certifications like ECE.
That's essentially the North American version of ECE.
Okay.
So Snell is North American, ECE is the European standard.
Okay.
And some helmets have both, such as the Shoei. I think Arai comes with both. But again, just seeing that whatever helmet you're getting has that standard is important. And again, it goes back to, you don't have to spend that kind of money to get the level of protection.
Right.
I mean, it's just get what helmet, again, fits and what fits the purpose of what you're doing. Because even with, the difference of, you mentioned car and motorcycle, there's a lot of racetracks, people will go with their motorcycle helmet thinking, well, I'm going, and they will say no, because they're made for different type of impact. And they're made for different type of testing and different purposes.
Yes.
So it is a very, motorcycle helmets are built for motorcycles and for very different, like I keep looking here at this helmet, which I also love, but you look at the size of the port where you're looking through compared to, say, the Shoei or whatever, it's made for a different use and a different purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So to me, that's, again, it's just a pet peeve because I think it's your head.
Yeah.
Take the time to get something that fits properly, not only your head, but fits what you're going to use it for.
Right.
That's just, and if you're taking, your girlfriend or your boyfriend out for a ride kind of thing, don't just give them whatever helmet on the shelf kind of thing, because, that's incredibly dangerous if, they're wearing this loose helmet or too tight a helmet and you happen to crash. It's really important. It's not something to be taken lightly.
In some cases almost worse than nothing. You're just creating more risk.
Absolutely. Like a loose helmet will, what the ambulance people we work with says, it scrambles your brain.
Right.
And it's so
So, and you were just saying, pick what you're going to do with it. Select the helmet that works for you. And that kind of takes us back to something we talked about as we went through the different types. But, I've talked to a lot of people who ride, and I like to ask people, what do you wear for a helmet? For myself, I have a variety, and I find a lot of motorcyclists do. On the touring bike, I love a half helmet because I can hear my sound system without having to have earbuds or anything. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a big fan of earbuds. I'm not a big fan of speakers in the helmet, because if you're wearing a full face helmet and you've got the earbuds in and you've got the tunes cranked, you are really in your own world. And I get that this should be fun and enjoyable and everything. And if that's the way you rock, good for you. For me, I like the half helmet because I can hear my sound system, but I can hear that car coming up beside me. I can hear the tires on the road. I can hear the birds in the trees driving up to Jasper, riding up there. I can hear nature. I can hear the things that I'm out there to enjoy. So I know that a half helmet is not as protective as as a full face helmet. I get it. I know that. But again, I'm an adult and I can weigh the risk of, okay, how many motorcycles are on the road? Of those motorcycles, how many are involved in an incident? Of those, how many have an impact between head or helmet and something? And of those, how many of those hits happen below where the half helmet would stop? And with no kids at home, all the things that you take into consideration, Karen and I both can make the adult conscious decision that we are comfortable with the risk involved in wearing a half helmet. And we should be able to make that decision. And I really have a problem with these safety people who are going to tell me, you should wear a full face helmet, and they make me feel like I'm some kind of idiot because I don't wear, a $2,000 full face helmet. You know what? I respect you for whatever you wear, and I wish people would respect me. Again, on the chopper, I wear a 3/4. Yeah, it's about the look. I'm not proud. It's about the look. I want to look like I belong on that thing. So I wear the 3/4. Again, I've weighed the risks. I know what I'm in for, and I'm okay with that. Talked to a fellow 2 nights ago at the Vintage Japanese Motorcycle Club meeting. This guy has been riding for 40 some odd or 50 some odd years, made his way up to gold level certified instructor. He's worked with, sounds like he's worked with cops and all kinds of stuff. This guy is a long time avid rider, and he's shopping this year for his very first full face helmet. And he told me, he said, I never considered the safety aspect. He said, I need a full face because the windshield on my new bike is shorter than my old one, and the wind hits me in the face, and I'm tired of it, so I want a full face so the wind isn't hitting me in the face. And, that's okay. Hey, there's a guy who has ridden for decades and has not had a full face helmet, and he's fine. And I know that's just a one-off, but I'm just saying, even very well educated people, very knowledgeable, very skilled riders make the choice to wear what they want to wear. Lots of guys have Brent down at PFX. He's got an open face. He's got, I forget what all he had on the shelf, but I think he had 4 different helmets. And he said, I wear the helmet based on the riding that I'm going to do and the machine that I'm going to be riding. Hey, cool. I would even say the guys who wear turbans, hey, respect, man. If you're, when I say sick, I've been told that that's actually the proper pronunciation for Sikh. So please don't think that I'm saying they are ill in any way. I'm saying that they are sick riders. And you know what? If that's your faith and everything else, no issue, no argument from me. You are totally cool. I'm glad you're out there on 2 wheels twisting a grip. I'm good with it. Interesting thing about sick riders. I talked to a guy one day. He had his Honda Fury in getting serviced, and he was standing there with his turban. I shouldn't say it quite like that, I guess. But anyway, he was wearing a turban. Yeah. And I said to him, I said, I'm interested. I notice you're wearing a turban. Do you wear a helmet when you ride? And he said, absolutely. He said, I would never ride without a helmet on. And I said, okay, you're going to have to help me here. Again, I don't mean to offend you, but how do you get past your faith with, to wear the helmet? And he said, oh, it's really easy. He said, I put a do-rag on in the morning, and when I put my jacket on, I tuck my hair inside my jacket. And he said, as long as I never take my jacket off during the day, I am keeping my faith, my hair and my head is covered, and I don't have an issue. I don't know if that works for every Sikh, but it was reasonable for him. It allowed him to do what he felt comfortable with. Yep. And again, I'm good with that. If he rides with a whole bunch of guys who are wearing turbans, good with it.
Yeah, and I think it is how you said it's what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
My wife will tell you, way too many helmets. Every one of them is a full face helmet. And that's just what I'm comfortable with. And I have ridden every Harley that is in their current lineup, always with a full face helmet. And it's almost the same thing you're saying, but it's the reverse, where it's like, let people wear what they want to wear.
Right.
If someone wants to wear a half helmet, a full face helmet, that's a personal choice. It's no different than whether you want to have a matte black helmet or big shiny graphics. Do what you want. Yeah. There's some things, like we said, take into account. Whatever helmet you're wearing, make sure it fits.
Yes.
Make sure it is within reason, and everyone has to decide for themselves. Is 5 years the magic number? I don't know. But don't be going out with that helmet that's like from the 40s and it's like this leather thing, there's better quality stuff out there. But yeah, I think it's go with what fits you.
You're making me feel guilty about my built well, you know that?
No, it's go with to me, it's what you're comfortable in. And like for me, and I don't know why, I've never owned anything other than, I did actually, because when you were talking about the bubble, the yellow bubble, when I first started riding, like when I was 8 or whatever, I had that helmet, not that one, but that style with the yellow bubble. So.
Yep.
But other than that, I've never had anything other than a full, and that's just what I like. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I'm with the gentleman you were talking to. It cuts down on wind and everything. I think if you have a good helmet, you're still hearing what's going on around. Even when I go on group rides and people are going, oh, we should have, the communicators. And I'm going, I don't like you that much. This is my time to actually have time to think. So I'm not worried about communicators. I just like the feel of a full face helmet. And, and I have been on, press launches with Harley things. I've been on rides with Calgary Harley here. And there's lots of guys wearing full face helmets. There's lots of guys wearing half helmets. There's guys wearing, I don't know what you call them. They're not even a half helmet. And it doesn't matter. It's do what you want. Yeah. As you say, you're an adult. You pick what you want to wear.
Absolutely. And if you feel good about it, and again, it's a matter of understanding the risks. Yeah. Taking everything into consideration and making the decision that's right for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I must admit, the states that don't have a helmet law. Yep. I watch our friend Kurt ride with his ball cap on backwards on the chopper. That's kind of cool. I think I would do it on a rural highway. Yeah. Without a lot of cars around and stuff. I think I might do it just for the experience. That said, my personal history, my personal experience, I have fallen off a motorcycle 3 times in my life. And all 3 times I wasn't wearing a helmet. And after the 3rd time, I said to myself, you're an idiot. Put a helmet on and you'll stop falling off. So that's my reasoning for wearing a helmet is I'm really not worried about hitting my head. I just seem to fall off if I don't have one on. So that's my deal.
And I've fallen off a lot more, multiples of that. But when I do, like even if you're at the track or in the shop when you're moving a bike and you just jump on it, with your ball cap, I feel so weird. I'm just like, this is wrong kind of thing. So it's just, again, it gets ingrained after decades of riding.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Did you have anything else we needed to talk about?
I think I've ranted a lot about helmet safety.
We had a lot of fun. This was good. I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I hope the listeners and the viewers enjoyed it as well. And it was nice to talk about helmets in these terms and not be trying to review them.
No, I mean, I do review helmets, but that's not the purpose of this.
At InsideMotorcycles.com, right?
No, but it is very different. And sometimes even when you're reviewing a helmet, it's a different purpose. It's about explaining the features of a helmet, where this is much more about when you're looking for a helmet.
Yeah.
Forget about the brand. I mean, we've got, I kind of lost count, at least 6 different brands up here.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I'm not brand loyal.
Right.
You go in my closet and there is at least half a dozen brands. It's about find a good quality helmet that's going to work for what you need.
I'm comfort and function loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's where
a great
I'm
way
at.
to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Absolutely.
And while we're talking about it, InsideMotorcycles.com, you can find Speed and Color there. They actually have a link on the InsideMotorcycles.com page that you can link over to Speed and Color. And I would be happy if you did that. Patrick, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Lots of fun. We're going to have to find something else to talk about.
Gloves are up next.
Gloves, there you go. We'll talk to the gang down at Odin Manufacturing. Oh, there goes a battery. We're out on that camera, so I'll look at that one over there. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Speed and Color, build stuff. Lots of episodes out there. We're trying to keep up. I appreciate you guys so much. Please subscribe. Give us... hopefully give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. If you got something to say, hey, we're here to take it in, and you won't offend us or anything. Tell us what you really think. That's it. See you again in 2 weeks. Don't forget the Instagram page. And we'll see you later. Thanks.